Is Malaysia safe? So been here, it's going to be a year soon, and I feel like I can give some answers. Right, your property. So I'm not used to having a fence or wall around a property, but here you generally get fenced in or walled in. So you feel there's an element of safety because someone would have to climb over the wall, climb over the fence to get to your inside your house. There's then a lot of bars, a lot of houses have a lot of bars and stuff, so it kind of gives you the impression that it's not safe. But because of the bars and the walls, as far as I'm aware, because the other thing I've realized before making this is that I don't watch the local news, so I guess I don't see all the things that happen, all the negative chat. But from just looking around, seeing, like in the UK, we would get people scoping our house once every quarter, so 4 times a year you'd get people kind of snooping. So far I haven't seen any snoopers where we're staying yet, or heard of people getting like a break-in. The people we know, I haven't heard of any break-ins. So that's the house element. Cars, we had a car stolen in the UK off the driveway. I haven't heard of any cars being stolen, and because here ours is behind our wall and gate, it would be a little harder. So I guess the house we feel safer, and then the cars we feel safer. There's an element now, there's always been an element in London of getting carjacked. Haven't heard of it happening here or felt like that's a possibility here yet. So safer on that front. So at the moment, safer house, safer car, safer carjacking. Pickpockets. So London has a big problem of pickpockets. KL here, haven't had or noticed or heard of any pickpocketing, so I'd say it's safer here. Police presence, we see a lot of police cars. They drive past down our road probably 4 times a night, and in the day I'm not so sure because I'm not looking, but at night time I have a camera in my office and I can see the police cars driving past maybe 4 times a night. In the UK you don't see any police, so you feel safer, and maybe because there is police you are actually safer. On the road safety, is getting into a crash a crime? Nah, that's separate. I've done a whole thing about driving in Malaysia. But what I was going to say was, that's my point. There's a lot of police checks. So on roads, they'll block a road and then they'll look in the car and either want ID or insurance. And we never get that in the UK. So on that front, again, it makes you feel safer because they're actually checking who's driving. I don't think I've ever been checked in the UK. So Malaysia wins on safety there. I think someone's told me that Malaysia, and because we're right next to Singapore, are 2 of the safest countries in the world. Anyway, online safety, let's think about that, because we are online a lot, and so you are at danger a lot. A lot of porn websites are blocked. How do I know that? I don't know. So in terms of accessing sites, they have restricted those porn sites. So for my kids, I know they can't get on it. I guess you can use a VPN if you want to get around that, but that would take effort and deliberate effort to use a VPN, go on sites you're not meant to, and that. So I feel like you're a little bit safer online. I've noticed here, at the moment there's an ad that plays with the Prime Minister, I think he's the Prime Minister of Malaysia. He's promoting a financial thing where you transfer money and it promises you 10 times the amount back, and that it's a government-backed scheme. it's obviously a scam, but that's playing when I am watching YouTube in the evening. That scam video is playing, which is really dangerous, because I don't know how many people actually fall for it. I mean, it's obviously a scam, but it looks like him. He's trying to, it's probably AI generated with his face and his like mouth moving with the words. But it's to me, it's so obvious a scam, but then I don't know how many people are getting caught out. So there is an online scammy element to some of the ads. And some of the ads were getting shown for like car wax, air conditioners, like that. It's absolute. Oh, and there's some glasses that are being like coming up as ads, and they just play again and again and again. I mean, that is obviously absolute junk, but the ads are being allowed. So yeah, that's just like, I guess a check on whether you fall for this kind of stuff or not. Anyway, there's one thing that is not safe. So so we've got 3 real incidents that have happened since we've been here. We were at a water park, and as we got on one of the rides, I think he was Indian, said to my daughter, my 10-year-old, you should stay with me for the weekend. Something along those lines. You should come with me for the weekend. And just said it, didn't make any physical move or anything like that. But that's not a good thing to happen at a water park. We think he looked very Indian. Maybe Sri Lankan, maybe Indian, maybe Bangla. We can't tell where he was from, but we think Indian. That's one incident we weren't that happy about. We went to a driving range, and my 10-year-old was approached directly by the guy running it, who said, you should come back and I'll teach you how to play golf. And it was super creepy how he did it, and how he did it directly to my 10-year-old again. I think because she's fair, she's appealing to, again, we think he's either Indian or Sri Lankan, and they feel like in front of us they can say this. So it's clearly, they culturally think they can approach 10-year-old girls and say what we feel is inappropriate. They didn't make any moves, try and touch or anything like that, but there's clearly a mindset, 2 different incidents, both towards my 10-year-old daughter, that have not been great. We heard that a girl who was walking out of her boarding school, there was like an attempted snatch, but I kind of joked with my daughter, who told me, my eldest, my 14-year-old, I was like, what do you mean attempted? And they're like, oh yeah, they tried to grab her into a van, one of the schoolgirls. And I was like, what, they didn't succeed? And then my daughter's like, no. I was like, God, like, they can't even successfully like snatch a girl. Again, I don't know, I wasn't there for that one, so I don't know where they were from. But because, again, I've got to be really kind of careful how I'm saying this, but I don't want to say it's common knowledge, but culturally, Indians treat, at least this is what we're told in the media, because there's all these protests going on, there's all these like village rapes and all these assaults, and like if you ever watch any content from India, there's barely any women on the street, so it's not safe. So when they come to Malaysia and work, it must be, I'm trying to be kind of kind here, culturally they don't understand how more civilized countries operate, and that you don't proposition a 10-year-old, you don't invite a 10-year-old away for the weekend, you don't tell a 10-year-old that you're going to teach them golf. I mean, this is just it's just inappropriate. So I kind of brushing it off, because I think it's just culturally they have a problem in the India kind of subcontinent area, where women are obviously having well, I'm going to say obviously having. It seems like a tough time. Anyway, so that to me is the danger. My 10-year-old is at slight risk, realistically. So we're just being careful on that front. Our neighbour, interestingly, they mix up their collection time so that their daughter isn't at the same place day in, day out. And we thought that was we kind of can't believe it, but they're going to that extent to mix up the routine of their daughter so that she's not a target. And we were a little bit surprised that someone's gone to that extent. So I don't know if it's a thing. I don't know if in the news there's lots of kids being approached, but that seems to be the worst of it here. So in terms of real risk, I personally don't feel like the house is going to get broken into. I don't think the car's going to get jacked. I'm sure it happens, but not like London where you're in daily threat of, my brother-in-law, he's had his car broken into 4 times this year, and I think his house broken into twice. He lives in Muswell Hill, London. So if you compare Malaysia to that, we're on a whole nother level. We've got friends in London that have get mugged, and they don't even call the police. They just get mugged. So it's comparison-wise, we feel really safe. There's just these 2 incidents that have happened to us that, and because it's not you, because it's your daughter, they feel more severe. But I kind of brushed them off because, it's just like a creepy comment. That's about the sum of it. ATMs, there probably are problems with ATMs, but I take cash out rarely. I try and swipe everything and do everything electronically, so I feel like that element's okay. Getting scammed, would you deem that a safety thing? Like the garage and stuff like that. I feel like generally the people that are here, who live here, who this is their cool home, they don't do that. I'm probably overpaying completely on maybe the mechanic because of all my car issues, but I feel like they're good people. I went to one mechanic where they then talked in their language and smiled, and I never went back to that. So the usual thing, you try and make a judgment on character. So the guy I go to now, I feel like he's trying his best. Most things have a price, or they have a per kilo amount. So I don't feel like it's a scammy country. Again, not like India and Pakistan. They'll literally clean you out. God, I'm not being kind to that region, am I? Sorry. It's just, I don't want to say it's the way it is, but that is just the feeling we get, that Pakistan and India, they will just rob you blind. Maybe not Pakistan. Maybe I'm being unfair there. Maybe just India. Okay, I take it back. Sorry about that. I'd love to know if you think I've got this right or got this wrong. Again, this is purely anecdotal. Maybe I'm missing so much with robberies, with carjacking, with personal safety. I don't know. I'm obviously in my own little bubble down here south of KL, in between here and school, my general place. But like for example, the school you get, so our UK school, our kids' stuff would get nicked a lot. If they had a hockey stick, or they had that, just their stuff in school would get nicked. Here, our kids my son leaves his bike around school unlocked. He leaves his tennis bag, his tennis kit around school, doesn't get nicked. So I think the people that live and work here are solid, because their kids aren't nicking our stuff. And the people the expat community, I guess of which I'm one, we're not looking to nick anything or scam anyone, or I don't know, it doesn't cross my mind. And their kids aren't either, because they're in school with us. So that to me is a tells a lot compared to the UK, where my daughter had to lock up her stuff in her dorm room because people would come in and nick it. So, I mean, all in all, I'd like to think, and judging by our first year, that we're much safer. Just those 2 incidents that really I just want to brush off because, you know, just some creepy guy. Yeah, I'd love to know your thoughts because safety is becoming more important to me. Oh, that's the other thing I was going to mention. A lot of houses or communities are gated, and so they have, you know, security on the gate or security guard. And in the UK, it's just unheard of. You don't have gated communities. Well, you do, but really, really rarely. And you don't have security. Whereas here, our neighbour has a security guard who sits out all night. And a lot of people actually have it. And they have like electric fences and all this stuff going on. We feel like it's complete overkill and that you don't need it at all. Because like I say, I'm up all night and I haven't seen one person scoping our property or like the road. Whereas in the UK, like I said, once every quarter, sometimes in succession, you'll have people just do drive-bys. So whatever they're doing, it's a deterrent, and maybe that's why there's no people scoping, because there is literally security guards and there is gated communities and there is high walls and there is electric fences. So they're doing something right here. Just one more thing to mention. Like if you're a woman alone at night, so London, you are not safe. Hands down, you are not safe in any area of London. We went to Singapore a few months ago now, but there was around the like boat in the sky place, there were women jogging almost in the darkness in the park, not wearing much, and that to me was like, my God, they feel so safe here that they're willing to run. It was kind of around 9-10 at night, and it's it's a lit park, but I wouldn't say well lit. And there were solo female joggers running. That to me said it all. I was like, this is the safest place ever. And my missus here in Malaysia, she definitely feels like very safe at nighttime. And I think nighttime is like the true test. Would you be happy to go out at nighttime as a lone female? And my missus does, and like she doesn't even think about it. Whereas in London or in London she definitely wouldn't. So yeah, I mean here, God, just making this video, I realise how safe we are, or at least feel. And I think I've covered it all. I hope that's useful. Oh, I was just gonna say, having daughters and a son, and not being in our, like where we grew up, safety does become a thing. And I've realised as I'm getting older, you do actually want to feel safe, and it's been a big, it's becoming more important to me. So, and I'm thinking about it more, especially I think with daughters. You just think about it a bit. Anyway, so yeah, Malaysia definitely big thumbs up on the safety front. Singapore even more. When we've travelled to Bali and Thailand and the other places in the region, we felt similar safety. Thailand maybe the least safe of those ones I mentioned. Bali we felt very safe. Indonesia we felt very safe. So yeah, but compared to London, easily 10 times safer. All right, I hope that's useful. Just my thoughts. Cheers.